It all began with inventions like Thomas Edison's kinetoscope in the late 18th. Inventors created machines that could show moving pictures. One of the most important was the kinetoscope, where people looked through a small window to watch short films. The first movies were silent and very short, but they quickly became popular even without sound or color. People loved this new way to tell stories. It wasn't exciting, different from anything they had seen before. In the early 20th century, film studios started moving to California. They settled in a place called Hollywood, which soon became the heart of the film industry. Hollywood offered many advantages for making movies. But why Hollywood? First, the weather was perfect for filming all year long. Second, California had many different landscapes, cities, forests, all in one place. And finally, some filmmakers wanted to escape Edison's patents, which made it easier to produce films without legal problems.
The Golden Age of Hollywood, 20s to 50s. The Golden Age of Hollywood was a special time in film history, from the 20s to 50s. In 1975, the first talking movie came out, The Jazz Singer. After that, sound and color changed movies forever. Films became more exciting and popular with the public. Big movie studios like MGM, Paramount, and Warner Bros. Made many famous films. These studios also create stars like Marilyn Monroe, James Stewart, and Humphrey Bogart. The studio system controlled almost everything: the actors, the directors, and the way movies were made. Movies became a big part of everyday life. People went to the cinema every week. Films influenced fashion, the way people talk, and even their values. Hollywood became a symbol of dreams and success. During World War II, Hollywood supported the war effort. It made patriotic films and war movies to give hope and pride to Americans. Popular genres during this time include musicals and westerns. These films had great music, big emotions, and strong characters. It was truly a golden time for the cinema.
After decades of dominance, the American cinema faced a significant challenge, which was the television in 1960s. The novelty of movies as a primary form of entertainment had worn off, since now families could enjoy a variety of new programs from the comfort of their homes. So this new competition led to a sharp decline in movie theater audiences, and Hollywood was forced to rethink its strategies and its approach towards the people. The traditional studio system, which had thrived on creating formulaic films with contract stars, began to crumble since audiences were evolving as well, given the fact that the 60s and 70s was an environment full of profound change, with movements like civil rights, women's liberation, and anti-war protest. People wanted more than just escapist fantasies. They craved films that explore deeper psychological themes that could reflect their complexities of their lives and challenge these societal norms. The old-fashioned musicals, westerns, and family dramas, while still had their place, no longer held the same captivating power for a generation coming of age in a turbulent world. So this demand for more realistic, personal, and political charged stories that paved the way for the new Hollywood movement. This is very important since it wasn't just a shift in themes, it was a fundamental change in who was making the movies and how they were being made. A new generation of directors, many of whom were film school graduates or deeply influenced by this European art cinema, emerged with these fresh perspectives and desire to push boundaries. These were filmmakers who had a strong authorial voice and were given more of a control than their predecessors. So consider directors like Martin Scorsese, whose raw and intense portrayal of even decay and psychological torment in films like Taxi Driver, or Francis Ford Coppola, who redefined the gangster genre with the epic and morally complex The Godfather in 1972, later captured this chaotic aftermath with Apocalypse Now in 1979. These directors, among others, brought a greater realism, complex characters, and often ambiguous endings that clearly contrasted sharply with the clear-cut morality of early Hollywood production. And during this period, films became more artistic and experimental. Directors were willing to take new risks, exploring taboo subjects, and using these innovative narrative structures. They often challenged the audience, leaving them with questions rather than clear, easy answers. And this era also saw a rise in critical cinema, with films openly question authority and societal institutions. This period was a vital one for American cinema, demonstrating its capacity for reinvention and its ability and capacity to reflect and sometimes even shape the cultural consciousness of a whole nation.
Have you ever wondered when Hollywood became all about these epic franchises with a massive explosion and $1 billion box office hits? Well, become today blockbuster era, a period that changed the cinema forever. And a time when the movies weren't just films, they were like a global events. This era introduced a new model of filmmaking based on spectacles, marketing, and a massive audience, shaping the way that we watch and understand the cinema today. This era refers to a period from the 1970s to the 1990s, defined by the production and commercial success and also the aggressive marketing to dominate the box office and the pop culture in the United States. Also, it all began with the movie Jaws in the 1975 and Star Wars in the 1977. And throughout in the 90s, films like E.T., Indiana Jones, and Back to the Future become a cultural phenomenon supported by toy lines, soundtrack, and merchandise. Also, it has some essential features to define this area. For example, the marketing exploded with the TBD ads, merchandise, and also the cross promotions. Finally, genres like actions, science fiction, and fantasy became a hit on the cinema. Finally, the era didn't just change the movies, it also created a new cinematic economy, and it also changed the audience expectations, because we know the demand of the spectacles, the connected words, and visual innovation. So, this studio stopped seeing films as a standalone stories and started building a long-term franchise. And while critics argue this and heard smaller films, there's no doubt the blockbuster blueprint and still define the global filmmaking. So, this model shape that we expect from the movies today, the huge visuals, the sequels, and also the shared universe. But there is one thing that it is clear. The blockbuster era didn't just entertain, it transformed the Hollywood forever.
Well, in this period, in the early 2000s, Hollywood started relying more on franchises and special effects with movies like Spider-Man, The Dark Knight, and Pirates of the Caribbean that set the tone for a new era. Then came Marvel Studios with Iron Man in 2008, and they launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a connected world of superheroes that became one of the most successful film franchises in history. But the biggest shift happened behind the scenes with digital technology, where filmmakers moved from traditional film to digital cameras, which made production faster and cheaper, and the visual effects improved and 3D movies returned. Then came streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. These platforms changed how and where we watch movies. Instead of going to the theater, people could watch new releases at home and sometimes on the same day. This change became even more dramatic during the COVID-19 pandemic when cinemas closed and studios had to release films online. And well, digital access also opened doors for more diverse stories. Now we started seeing more women behind the camera and powerful films from underrepresented communities. So in just 2 decades, American cinema has gone from blockbusters in theaters to streaming on your phone. So that's the power of the digital revolution.